Hello everybody! So, seemed like my previous video about games that disappointed me do pretty well and people like that. So if you haven't checked it out yet, go check it. This time I decided to do a video that Switch game that actually surprised me how good they are. Do you have any games that did that to you? Let me know. But anyway, we're gonna start the video. So we are specifically talking about World Alive mode here when talking about Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. And you could say it's the game's story mode. I really love the subspace emissary in the brawl, and when I heard they're making a bit smaller scale story mode for Ultimate, but a little bit similar, my thoughts were that I'm gonna have a bit of good time in this Smash Bros. But why I wasn't prepared how good it's gonna be and how many different fights you can make in with these different spirits they introduced, and some of them were really clever. What I really love about this mode was the celebration of video games. Like example, there was a Street Fighter World Tour reference, which was really cool. I really enjoyed it. And there was a Donkey Kong World, more like Donkey Kong Country. That was awesome. And there's way more what I really loved about that mode. But they still make it really epic, and especially I really like the last boss fight. It was kind of difficult, and there was some kind of neat twist in it. Overall, really nice mode, and after years, really couldn't get that crazily into Super Smash Bros. But this game really made me a fan, with its very fluid fighting mechanics and impressive story mode. I really loved Brawl and everything the story, but it wasn't the game that made me a fan, because the combat was kinda slow, and then I played a little bit Wii U version. It was okay, but it really doesn't like, there's something was still missing. But when I played Ultimate, I really made me a fan. But anyway, that's gonna be my first pick. What do you guys think? And let's hop into the next one. I always really loved the original Luigi's Mansion, and I think it's still one of the best games on GameCube easily. And Luigi's Mansion Dark Moon, I didn't really get much into it, and because I heard it was a little bit disappointing. But when they announced a new Luigi's Mansion and it looked graphically intense and really crazy for a Switch game, that was sold me the most. But what sold me even more was the level variety, and you can tell the devs had really fun doing this game. You can go to hotel room filled with lots of plant life, and next you know you are middle of dune sands on Egypt, all in the same hotel. That isn't that crazy? Luigi Mansion games' strengths always had the different personalities of the ghosts. It's always so fun to try to catch them based on that. You also have this fun Metroidvania vibe elements where you have to return back to different rooms that have door that you couldn't open before, and now you have a gadget or equipment you need to open them, or you just have to upgrade your vacuum. Something simple like that. Or that the current ghost is just really tricky and keeps hopping floor to floor, so you have to think upon different strategy to how to catch it. I really recommend this game, especially if you're special someone or you are a parent, because the co-op is a lots of fun, and it really rewards you doing some a little bit teamwork in some rooms. I played it with my wife, and we really enjoyed it. I think it was her first Luigi's Mansion, and she was really loving it. Overall, this is one of those games I really recommend on Switch, and I want everybody to try, even if you don't have a special someone. I think it's more like it's made in one person in mind. The second player is just a boss. I haven't tried it in Switch 2 yet and see how it runs, because it runs really good in the first Switch. I couldn't see why it would run less better in Switch 2. Oh boy, this game was so good. It just felt Metroid was back. I was expecting it to be a good Metroid game, but not a level of Super Metroid. Maybe even better. Well, I don't really need to explain how Metroid games works, right? I think everybody has played at least some kind of Metroidvania. Well, this is just refined in that sense that even bosses can be beaten multiple ways, like any typical Metroid game. And the combat is really fluid, and what I really liked was the additional little bit voice acting. Not too much, but just enough to get a feeling that it's worth it. I'm not sure what to talk about much about this game, but please play it. You won't regret. It's not overpriced or anything. You can have really good time. And you totally won't regret it, like I just said. By the way, the final boss was so good and really added a little bit nice lore to the Metroid universe. And I can't wait to see what Mercury Stream cooks up in future. Maybe even this year. You never know. This game totally blew me away. I played many Fire Emblem games, but this game just felt so special with the school setting and having many of those social aspects you kinda see in like personal games. Don't get me wrong, I really adore the old school style, with Tellius games being one of my favorite games of all time, especially in Fire Emblem franchise. But also I'm not afraid to have some kind of change and trying some new things in a franchise I love, as long as it doesn't stray away too much from what made the franchise great. Well, let's talk about the combat now. I really love the new ability called Gambit. It can be really useful in many situations, but what I really like about it, it kind of shows the players that even if your character is in the battlefield, they still have this little bit battalion following you all the time. You wouldn't expect that because you just only see the character only, but yeah, it makes the war situations more real. That there's actually unplayable characters and they just follow you around. They have this little bit quirks in this game, but I really overall like because it's the Fire Emblem combat that I always love. Fire Emblem Three Houses story is easily strongest in the series, and I love that everything is voice acted, so it really wants me to do everything in the game. I heard also that the image quality in many scenes is low because they wanted to fit all the voice acting audio and everything in the cartridges. That's what I heard, and I'm glad. I will take that exchange to get a lot of voice acting than the shittier image quality. Of course, I want both, but if I have to pick one, I would take that any day. But also, I really like the story that it was kind of mature. At least Fire Emblem games I played, it's very mature compared to those, and it's felt kind of grounded. Not of course totally grounded, but bit more grounded, and that I really liked. And the branching paths make the game really playable many times. And I did. I think I did even like 6 playthroughs. And you wonder why 6? Because I did all the playthroughs. Then the DLC came up with new characters. And of course, I had to do a new playthroughs with every path again. Because the new characters have so many new social interactions with the old cast. So obviously, I have to play it again. I'm not gonna talk about this all day. You have to experience it yourself, and I bet you will not regret it. If you haven't played Fire Emblem before, this is a good way to start, and I really recommend it. I get it. Strategic games are not usually your cup of tea, but give this game a chance, okay? This is more than that. I'm so glad they decided that the next Fire Emblem is gonna be a sequel to this, and maybe we could see some old characters returning. I know this is way in the future than this game, but you never know. Maybe a little bit of reference here and there. So please, Nintendo, please announce the release date already. I only heard good things about this game, and I was really curious, even though the idea that you have to do multiple playthroughs kinda pushed me back. The setting really interested me, that we are in a future where humans are gone and androids are left. What do the androids do then? I got really surprised how much I enjoyed the combat, and like that it had a little bit bullet health integrated in it, so I had to try to shoot at the same time and doing melee. I thought that was really fun. At first, I didn't know how to feel about it, but I think I really like that. What I really like about it was the feeling that hope was lost. There was nothing left, and you have to try figure out how to survive in this world as an android. Of course, the enemy variety is a bit left for desired, but the game makes up to it with its story and characters. I'm gonna be honest, second playthrough kinda feel a little bit that the game was tracking when you have to do all the same stuff as your first playthrough, but if you survive through that, the game really rewards you and get you really emotional moments. And I wish many people would experience them. I get it, it's kinda hard to go through because you feel like you're wasting your time when doing all the same stuff, but at least it's kinda different perspective. So it feels a little bit different. After playing this game, I will let everybody know that I do really understand why they keep this game as a high regard. And it's such an emotional journey. So everybody, if you haven't played this game, give it a chance. I bet you really enjoy it. And if you haven't played action RPGs, this could be a good one to start with. Because the game just brings you on with its story and characters. And even though they're just androids, you actually kind of feel sad for them, which is a great game design. But anyway, play the game, alright? This game, I really don't know what to say. Maybe that it is blew my socks away. I'm so glad I made a random playthrough of this on my channel because I kinda had this Dragon Quest 11 vibes and gotta say, wow. They really were cooking. Where do I start? First of all, so many different types of party members you have that just means you can make so many unique playthroughs, which is kinda nuts. Also, loved how in the beginning you can go anywhere you want in the map, and decides which area focus first. Every area or town had this own unique side story, like in Dragon Quest 11 if you played those. Really builds the world splendidly, and after their inheritor joins your cause, then you can open the area and go even the next area. If this is your first JRPG, it might be a bit hard to get into the combat because it's not your usual JRPG combat with leveling up system. So basically, you level up instead your skills and try to use enemies' weaknesses against them. When you use a certain skill enough times, you open even better version of that, and then you might open an actual weakness to enemies. So you have to do this called shinings, and you just have to try different mechanics and see which opens which one. And it's really cool, really cool idea. I don't think I played any JRPG that has that kind of combat. I gotta say, as a long-time JRPG player, it really take all my knowledge sometimes to get through some of the bosses. And they were so damn difficult, but at the same time, well worth the time. So if you're a long-time JRPG player, be prepared, it's actually gonna challenge you a lot. I really recommend everybody to play this game immediately, and I will tell you 100% that this game will become a hidden gem. And don't be afraid of what I just said in the video, please try it, okay? I don't know why people are not talking about this game, it's so damn good. This was actually my first Ys game. Isn't that crazy? One of the greats is my first Ys game. Only heard about that how great this game was, and that we are going to get shipwrecked after all that everything else came out of the left field. holy damn, this game was great. You shipwreck, and then you have to try to gather the whole group together by exploring the island and figure out who is the traitor and who is the trustworthy. I do really love that in games, but each game's strength always has been the combat, very fast paced, and need some skill to take down bosses. And the story is great because while you're doing lots of exploring, there's so many secrets to uncover, and not everything is how it seems in this island. And it's one of the craziest stories I ever played. You will be playing in the current time and in the past, which is really cool mechanic. I played this game early in the Switch once live, and it's still living rent free in my head. Gameplay and story just was that good. If you want a good action RPG, this is right up your alley. And if you love emotional stories, well, like I said, this is for you. I'm glad I played this game back in the day because this game was the game that launched me to the Trail series and which I really adore nowadays. So overall, really good complete package and just makes you wonder, does Falcom ever miss? And if you're gonna play this game, I'm gonna give you one advice. Be prepared to get emotional at the end. Oh my god, that was... Oh my god, I don't know if I still got over that. That's the whole list that I have that rather really surprised me in Switch, and I'm glad I played each one of them. And if you're looking to game to play in Switch 2, these are which I really recommend. And it's okay, you can play Switch 1 games in Switch 2 and even better FPS. So, how does that sound? Let me know what you think. What's your list of games that surprised you? And let me know, of course. If you're going to try any of these games in the list after this video, I want to know that also. I'm really grateful you guys watch my videos and hope you really enjoyed this video because it took me a little while to make. If you enjoyed this one, I will sure to make more of these. Also, thank you so much for watching and have a really wonderful day. But always remember, the game on every day.